Okay, now President Obama wants to make sure that Iran doesn't get a nuclear program. Right now, they do not have a nuclear program. He'd like to keep it that way. So one of the things that he's demanded in negotiations, and he said it publicly recently, is a 10-year freeze in Iran's nuclear program. And Iran is not happy about that. Look, this is what we're negotiating. You know, we're going to the contours of the deal. Now, when we say nuclear program, a lot of people assume nuclear weapons, but that's not necessarily the case. It's nuclear power. Now, Iran claims they are using it for energy. Now, other countries that use nuclear power include the United States of America. Japan, obviously, remember the meltdown they had in their nuclear reactor. France uses nuclear energy to an enormous degree. But we say to Iran, you are not allowed to use nuclear energy. We're all allowed to use it. And by the way, France and UK and Israel and the US also have nuclear weapons. We're allowed to have them, but you're not allowed to have them. Okay? So, but look, we're not friendly with them. We don't agree with their government. We're using our power to try to get our way. And hey, we got them to a negotiation table. We did the sanctions. That's hurt them a lot. And if we can get our way, great. Okay? Now, you might not be happy about that if you're in Iran. I'm happy about it as an American. I don't want this Iranian government to have anywhere near nuclear weapons. Now, energy is a different question. That's the whole point of the conversation and the negotiations. Perhaps they can transport it out of the country where it gets enriched more, which is a proposal that has been going around for a while, and then it comes back into the country in a safe way. So they get to have energy, but no nuclear weapons program. So those are the things we're hammering around. President Obama now puts out this big demand, and part of the reason he's doing it, let's keep it real, is because Netanyahu is here getting standing ovations, 4-minute standing ovations from the United States Congress. So he's got to act more like a tough guy, and perhaps even endanger the negotiations by going out there and be like, oh yeah, I'm the toughest on Iran. Okay, I don't think it's that productive, but maybe it is. Maybe it's just a negotiation ploy and we'll get a better deal. I hope so. Now, of course, the Iranians are upset. Their foreign minister says Obama's stance, as expressed, is unacceptable and is put in threatening phrases. Okay? Yeah, well, that's how negotiations go. You don't like our stance, we don't like your stance. That's why we're arguing. Okay, he also said Iran will not accept excessive and illogical demands. Now, a lot of yelling back and forth here, but when you get down to it, are you walking away from the table? No. He says there's a seriousness that we need to move forward. As we have said all along, we need the necessary political will to understand that the only way to move forward is through negotiations. Now, for our purposes, we have John Kerry, our Secretary of State, and he comes out and says, yeah, everybody be cool. He says, quote, we're working away productively, okay? Now, this is what adults do. Children like Netanyahu come and rant and rave and cry and give speeches about how we should never do any deal with the Iranians, that no deal is better than this deal, and he gave no other alternative. So the only thing he's in favor of course, as usual, is war. But here are two sides who don't want to go to war, and they're trying to negotiate so they can come up with a solution. And in the midst of that negotiation, they will vociferously disagree. That's the whole point of enemies negotiating. And from time to time, there'll be bluster, but they still remain at the table, and that's how you're supposed to do it. And by the way, there are not two people at this table. It's not the U.S. And Iran that's negotiating. It's Iran with the 6 major powers, which includes Russia, China, and then Germany, France, and Great Britain. So it's 6 countries together that are working productively. In fact, when you go to the German foreign minister, here's what he says about the negotiations. I would even go so far as to say that in 10 years of negotiations, we never achieved as much progress as we have made this year. So when you see warmongers, whether they're from Israel or the United States, talking about how we're not getting anything done and we need to press the button immediately, we need to end all negotiations, end any hope for peace and immediately go to war, don't believe the hype. The reality is that people on all sides are working hard for a deal. We don't know if they'll get that deal. If it was a foregone conclusion, we'd already know. We don't know. But they are working hard on that deal. That deal is eminently possible. Both sides are motivated to get that deal. And if it comes in the form of the negotiations so far, they're talking about reasonable parameters. They're in the range of the bounds of reason, where we can get a deal where Iran does not get weapons, they get the sanctions lifted, and get some sort of energy that they say they need for their country. That would be wonderful. Don't listen to warmongers. Don't believe the hype.